based out of Waterloo in Canada. This happens to be one of the leadership software companies present globally, and of course one of the largest IT companies in Canada. Enterprise content management happens to be one of the core pillars of OpenText, and it does get related to one of the Gartner's components of enterprise information management. And when you talk about enterprise content management, you talk about archival, you talk about records management, you talk about rights management, you talk about information governance, besides the traditional content archival or content storage, what we talk about. Second one definitely is the customer experience management. This, to a wide aspect, also does not need introduction, but from an India market perspective, this is getting a lot of momentum and traction. And when you talk about customer experience management, we talk about the web experience management, we talk about customer contact management. That's the complete experience customers would like to drive while they are interacting with vendors, suppliers, partners, whoever is there through the web. And it could be various channels today with technology enhancing. You get your interactive phones, you have your kiosk, you have your websites, you have the social media, everything pertains to customer experience management. And we have a good strategy and solution around the customer experience management. And we will definitely cover that as we go through with our journey. The third one is smart process applications. That's what we talk it. Though Gartner coins this as business process management, we call this as smart process applications. And this definitely is again getting momentum in India specifically, because the requirement and the expectations our customers are really shooting above the sky. And to keep up with the expectations, specifically in the banking fraternity or any of the service industries, you need to definitely speed up your service processes, automate it, regulate it, which becomes very, very critical in terms of the revenue what you generate for your organizations, or in terms of the ROI what you need to deliver. So that's the third pillar, which is critical. We have two more interesting pillars. One is on the information exchange, and this is again getting good momentum globally. When I talk about information exchange, it primarily refers to how you're looking at communicating across your community. And as I said, the community could be primarily what we are looking here in information exchanges in your intranet, like your Facebook for your extranet or your external customers or your friends and various people. You have an internal community where you need to collaborate, communicate, discuss, etc. So that's where you have Tempo and Social for large corporates, which can be deployed across your organization. So that's one of the components within information exchange. We also talk about managed file transfer, which is getting very critical as the volume and the size of documents is growing up exorbitantly. And rather than using traditional FTP mechanism, managed file transfer helps you to give you the desired security when you're transferring a file from A to B, and it gives you the rights to delete or to keep the document for an X amount of period, depending on the person you're sending it to. So that's very critical. Third important component of information exchange, as you can see, is data exchange. Now, when we talk about enterprise content management, today a lot of customers are mature in this industry and would be using existing software from one of our competitors, whether it's EMC or it's Oracle or it's IBM. The intent is not to tell the customers to throw off these pieces of software and buy a complete new set. The intent is coexistence, and this coexistence can be deployed using information exchange. And the final pillar, what we talk about, is e-discovery, or the discovery part of it, where search becomes one of the fundamentals. We talk about semantic navigation, which is gaining a lot of momentum because you need to start getting intelligent search within your organizations, and that's getting very, very critical. So that's the other part. And the third is auto classification of your documents. How do you want to classify your documents? So these all contribute to the 5-pillar strategy of enterprise information management. What we are adding to this web experience management is something called a digital asset management. And as you can see through, whether you're talking about the news media companies, whether you're talking about any of the large retail corporates, your brand management has to be communicated through digital assets. Now, you could create a large repository of digital assets in a centralized location. You could have your creative users editing the documents. You could be ingesting these documents from various sources, as you could not necessarily be the owner of the digital content. You would be getting the digital content from external vendors or your brand agencies, and you would be disseminating this information through various channels. It could be your mobile, it could be your internet, it could be your kiosk, it could be any mode of transmission. And today, with broadband gaining momentum and with 4G coming into act with players like Reliance and Bharti, digital content is going to be very, very critical. Everything is available on the mobile today. You want your news channel, you want clippings, you want your any content related to digital is available. So this is gaining a lot of momentum. And just to correlate this, if from a customer experience perspective, we have very good customers globally, like you talk about HBO, 20th Century Fox, NBC News Channel. All of them have deployed digital content. And on the other side, we look at Procter & Gamble, which is on the large retail entities, has deployed digital content for their brand management, for marketing, etc. So this is actually changing the game of marketing, what you're doing, and your brand management arena. From a customer experience management, there is something called as the customer contact management. How you deliver your content to customers, whether it's through in terms of the bills, what are given to the customers month on month, newsletters, some insurance kits or customer onboarding kits, which are delivered either in the banking segment, insurance segment, telecom segment, any of this, your electricity bills, utility bills. Now, usually what happens is when you see a lot of flyers attached to these, or when you get I'm taking an example of Vodafone bill. When I get my bill, I get a lot of flyers attached to it. I definitely do not look at those flyers, and it goes down the drain. So with our kind of a solution, we customize it for every customer. We've seen the analysis of his usage pattern, and on the landscape of the single bill, we add on upselling, cross-selling kind of a solution stack. So this definitely appeases to the customer. Or when you're going into the retail industry, at a kiosk, if I can personalize the small bill, what you get, saying, dear Mr. Sharon, good morning, good afternoon, this is what you purchased, would you like to look at options? It really helps you a lot. So this is the way we are enhancing, cross-selling, upselling customer experiences from a digital world. From a content management, now everyone is talking about content management, so what's the differentiator we create from our solution stack? There are two clear distinctions. We are very intensely into the healthcare market, and globally this is getting big because there's a lot of focus on healthcare services, as you know, and India is also going to get a lot of momentum. And the intent of a lot of hospitals is to make their hospitals paperless. As soon as a patient enters the hospital and as soon as the patient exits the hospital, it has to be a complete paperless experience. So a lot of these hospitals are using solutions like your EMR, which is the electronic medical record system, similar to an ERP system. I'm just correlating to that. And as the time the patient enters, all his related information is captured. But when he's filling up the hospital forms, the insurance forms, and he's got a lot of his historical data in terms of his X-rays, his MRI reports, everything. Now, if this all can get digitized and stored in a central repository, it definitely helps in making a paperless organization. So once the patient enters, registers, digitizes all this information, the complete experience with the surgery, with the physician, with the nurses, with the doctors, with the prescriptions, gets in a automated workflow format and a digitized format. Even when references are to be made by these patients to some global pool of doctors for expert advice, he doesn't have to physically carry reports. So you're saving a lot of these efforts in trying to automate things. So healthcare is getting very critical, and I think we have very good solutions around them. And when you talk about good solutions, integrating with your DICOM systems which take care of your X-rays, digital x-rays, your MRI reports, CT scans, all that getting consolidated in real time. And the doctors can see this in a sub-second, 1 to 2 seconds. Please understand the doctors have a very different tendency and their expectations are very high. So they want to see reports the way they see it on a file. When you're flipping the file, you see the reports immediately, and that's the way the doctor wants to see a digital experience on a screen. So that's getting very great momentum. And again, to substantiate that, globally you see Mayo Clinic, which is one of the largest, and it was actually inaugurated by Mr. Barack Obama, Mayo Clinic, and then you have Geisinger, you have Kaiser, some of the large examples using the integrated document management solution from OpenText. Today, if you look at talking to CXOs, CIOs, and going beyond that to CMOs and CFOs also, because our solution caters and touches upon the financials and the marketing organizations. The challenge is, how do you have a centralized repository of documents? A. And once you have a centralized repository, how do you integrate that with your existing application or transactional database systems? B. C is, how do you make analytical use of this document? That's what is important. So when you're creating this large repository of information, the CIOs, CXOs are not interested in looking at multiple clicks or multiple windows when they want to view the documents. Where what we do is, let me take an example of SAP, which is what one of our large partners. We have an OEM agreement with SAP globally, and SAP is one of the leaders in the market space of ERP. So when any of the customer from a plant maintenance, material management, or a customer relationship management is looking at any transaction related to a customer, all the underlying documents related to that customer can be seen from the single click of the SAP window. So the tight integration within an application system and our system is what the customers are looking at. And the beauty is, the customers do not realize they're using a separate OpenText document management system. Is a proof in the results what we get. He looks at it as an integrated view from SAP. So look at a plant maintenance in an engineering thing. There are failure of some equipment, air conditioning equipment or a gas pipeline, and that has to be fixed by some of the maintenance guys, and he has to view the maintenance manuals. Now this all will not be available on his handheld devices, but if he's using solutions from OpenText, this could be available at the click of the device, because he's not an SAP user. A maintenance person in an organization is not an SAP user. He can connect it through the web-based systems, get into this system, view the document, look at the maintenance manuals, and look at an appropriate action in real time. And this is getting very intensive in a lot of the engineering, manufacturing, automobile, oil and gas industries, where you want real-time support in remote locations. So that's where we're looking at integration. The answer is yes and no. From a yes perspective is that, the CIOs today definitely do not want to lose control, and there are certain areas where the CIOs play a lot of important role. So if you look at next to the CEO, my bet would be a CIO understands the complete horizon of your organization in terms of the business pain points and the IT infrastructure. So correlating that becomes the CIO's mandate. So that's getting very critical today. So CIOs no more are looking into horizontal or infrastructural projects of your servers, your storages, your networks. Those days are gone. You've undergone the curve. Applications, they're already in place today. You don't need it. Any customer you talk to, an ERP or a banking, core banking is in place, manufacturing ERP is in place, telecom and billing applications are in place. So what's the role the CIO is going to play? Just upgrading the environment, or they're going to add value to the business? The pressure to them is to add value to the business. How do they add value to the business? When they can improve the experience of their customers, and their customers are within the organization. It could be a CMO, it could be a CFO or a CXO, whatever is it, improving the experience. So in terms of brand management, related activities, digital content, while the business need is being pronounced, by the CMO. The execution of that would be done by the CIO. Because at the end of the day, the CIO has to take ownership of execution of an infrastructure or the technology, or ownership of supporting. So it's a two-way solution part of it. That's one part of it. From a finance perspective, if you look at it, a lot of account payables and account receivable solutions. The invoice generation today, no more it gets physical. Everyone wants to automate it so that you pay. Today in India, it may not be a mandate, but abroad, if you pay your vendors on time, before time, you get the required credit for making payments, or incentives, I would say, not the credit for making payments on time. So that's getting automated also. And that definitely, the business need comes from the CFO, but the execution happens to the CIO. So I wouldn't say the control of the CIO is going, to summarize it. I would say the role of a CIO is changing and transitioning from a traditional infrastructure management person to more of a solution-based executive. Majority of the vendors you talk to would say BFSI is the segment. But from OpenText, the game changer is manufacturing. And the reason we look at manufacturing, because we have a very tight historical partnership, OEM agreement with SAP. And to spell it down, some of our key product lines, 11 product lines, are also listed on the SAP price list. That's a kind of tight, deep integration what we talk about. And this comes when you're doing co-development of solutions in the labs, and this happens in our labs in Germany. Along with SAP, we do a lot of co-development and deep integration. It doesn't happen at a layered level, it's a very tight, deep integration, where not getting to more technology, but SAP works on an object base, and we work on a workspace kind of environment. So we correlate these workspaces with objects right at the lowest level of technology. So that's the reason manufacturing becomes one of the key business drivers. India has been a large SAP-based ERP house, and that's the reason traditionally we feel the customers are large in the manufacturing space. Having said that, we also would like to have, and we've seen BFSI space being a very large space for OpenText globally.